everybody, I'm going to pick up the second video of the leadership orientation. After you complete these videos, please respond and say I have completed them. And there should be a quiz connected to this. And it is an honesty-based quiz. Basically, did you watch the entire videos? Or did you skip around? Did you kind of just hurry and rush through them, not even paying attention? We want you to pay attention to them, not listen to them while you're just at work, while you're multitasking. No. They're here for convenience, but we want you to have your undivided attention when it comes to these videos, okay? And so, please ma'am, please sir, if you're gonna take these tests and go through this structure that we have, make sure you give us the undivided attention and don't just have it playing in the background or playing in one side of your ear while you're working. Or, you can be doing some work around the house if you're listening to them that way, but just make sure you are listening to them. And fill out the quiz accordingly so that we can have a good understanding, all right? I'm going to go through the second half of this manual. Again, if you don't have the manual, make sure you download it. And I'm just talking about, I talked about how laborers and silvers and bronze in that last video. This one picks up more of the character of the next stage. And one of the things I want to say is make sure that you have character. Because it's 3 C's, again, that I look at when it comes to this structure. Character, competence, and classes. Character, competence, classes. Do you have the right character? Are you the right person as far as your characteristics and integrity? Competence, can you do the job? Can you deliver? Or are you just somebody volunteering but you really can't deliver? Classes, have you completed all the classes at the deadline? Okay? And has, completed the final exam to each class. All of that is needed. So some of the things that I'm going to go to, and it says community service opportunities. Basically, this page is talking about do stuff for the church that's not so much on your job duty list. I was talking about you can help pick up chairs. You can help plug in sound. You can help pack up the equipment as we go to, if we're still in a mobile church, you can pack it up into the bins and the buckets so we can put it in the van. You can help foul. You can help get things organized when it comes to passing out things. This may not be on your job description, but it's just some of the things you can do. Bring breakfast sometimes for people. Bring water. Invest in snacks. Plan a little outreach for us. Or talk to somebody who knows how to plan. Outreach as far as, we can go and feed the homeless, or we can go and do other things. Come up with ideas like that. Birthday cards, birthday things. When people have a birthday, you can probably be somebody who can help with, recognizing birthdays or different special things throughout the service that we can kind of recognize. Just make it you. Put your flavor. God gave you a certain personality. Bring it to the church. Make sure you just do it, the right way. If it's not the right time for us, then that's fine, but don't get discouraged. It's just put some plans out there so that we can make this church fit everybody, okay? Do a ministry gift. You're probably a sound person, but you know how to rap, you know how to sing, you know how to dance, you know how to do other things. Do a ministry gift, or find somebody who knows how to do ministry gifts, okay? So it's just different ways to kind of make the church come alive, A reminder is, I have on here, make no room to assume. If you're working with people and it's just something come up and you just start assuming, make no room to assume. Pick up the phone, call them, ask them, request a CIA meeting. That's another thing. In fact, let me just talk about the CIA meetings right there. CIA meetings are confronting issues appropriately. We have times periodically where we just kind of make sure that we are confronting things in the appropriate manner so that we can flow in one accord, okay? Sometimes people come with different baggages again, and we have to sit down, have a one-on-one meeting, and just address issues, because whatever we don't confront is what we allow. So we don't want to just allow a lot of foolishness of people doing anything they want to do because they're used to doing it. We have to confront things in an appropriate way. And so that's what a CIA meeting is. And sometimes you may have aught against your brother, and you may have issues against your brother, and you don't want to walk in the fence. You may need to request a CIA meeting just to clear the air so we can all flow together, because God is not the author of confusion. Okay? And so if you have issues with your brother or with your sister, and you probably went to them and it's still not resolved, please, please, please request a CIA meeting so that we can all get this resolved, because I've seen so many people leave or do other things premature because they just didn't confront it properly. Then I've seen a lot of relationships restored because of a CIA meeting, and because we got to the bottom of it, and now everybody is working better. So you want to take advantage over those CIA meetings, okay? I'm going back to what I said before. Make no room to assume, okay? If you are assuming something and it's kind of the wrong way, and Satan is trying to plant seeds in your head to get you in the fence and get you out there, make no room to assume. Second, have an answer for the cancer. Make sure you just have your answer, okay? If it's something that's going to destroy something, make sure you have a stand on where you're supposed to be, and make sure it's, don't compromise. Just have an answer for the cancer. And defeat the yeast. If you see that this something is coming in and trying to destroy everything, you be the right voice and say, no, that's not right. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the right thing. And so defeat the yeast, okay? I talked about the code of ministry in the last video. Please read that again. In order to avoid burnout, sometimes you're going to be in a position where it seems like you're just working all the time, and it's like ministry almost turns into a job. You don't want to feel that way. If you feel like you're getting burnt out, I have a whole page on it for you, okay? So don't be a super worker. Take time for yourself. That's the one thing. It says take time for yourself. The Bible talks about don't be weary in well-doing, okay? So you can be doing well in the ministry, but you're not taking time for yourself. Go out and take yourself to the movie. Go out and eat. Get you a cheesecake slice or something, but just take time for yourself and learn how to just appreciate yourself. Spend time in prayer. A lot of times people are burnt out because they have no prayer life. They don't spend time with God. They're Martha ministries. They're just working, and not sitting at the feet of Jesus. You need some time to soak in the presence of God. Spend time in prayer, okay? Have a need one-on-one meeting with pastor or overseer. That's CIA meeting. Have a one-on-one meeting. Confront issues. I'm tired. I need to sit down. I've been doing a lot. Can I have a month or two off? I would recommend like how you do a job. If you need a few weeks off or a month. Now, if you start getting into like 3 months off and everything, and that's a little bit too far. Unless you're like on staff. Unless you are somebody who really been doing a whole lot, you've been basically holding the ministry by yourself, because even I don't need 3 months off. And I do more ministry than everybody. But I can see if you've really been working, and you probably need a couple of weeks off, 2, maybe 3. I think a month is kind of pushing it, taking off a whole month. Unless, again, you have a lot of personal things going on in your life, and you really need that month off. Just talk. The point is, talk to somebody before you just stop everything, okay? Fellowship with other workers. Don't be isolated. Don't be an island. Nobody understands the trouble I've been through. No, make friends with your fellow Christian brothers and sisters and fellowship with them. You all go and see a movie. You all go out to dinner. You all go and do something. Hang out, and don't just feel like you're on this thing by yourself, okay? If you need to take a leave of absence, I said that. In the ministry, do so on good terms. Don't just drop everything. I'm tired of this church. I'm leaving. No, that's the wrong way. However you leave is how you're going to be received. Even if you leave a ministry. Some of you all may be working, then it's like God has said, okay, time for you to move on. You better make sure it's God. Just make sure it's God, because sometimes it's burnout talking, and you think it's God, but it's actually burnout. And it's Satan's way of getting you outside the covering of God. And I've seen so many people get out the covering, and some of them have not recovered. because they didn't do it the right way. So there is a proper way to do everything, okay? So just leave on good terms, that you're still in good standing. Don't leave with havoc. And it's like that uncomfortable feeling, oh Lord, did I do it right? If you're feeling like that, maybe you didn't do it right. You know, you would know. Get the Acts chapter 13, verse 3 blessing. If you don't get somebody praying over you to release you, not in a controlling way, but you want to make sure it's good and standing. Acts chapter 13, verse 3 said they laid hands on Paul and Barnabas and released them to go do their ministry. It's plenty of times we just lay hands on people and release them to go and do their thing. But don't just leave, because that's wrong. Do so on good terms. Be honest. If you don't burn out, be honest. Don't be saying, no, I got this, I'm fine. I got the strength of the Lord and the power of his might. You ain't got to get all spiritual on us. We know the word too. Just be honest. Just say, I'm tired. You know, I've been having a lot of stuff going on. I'm tired and I need a break. It's okay. Don't be a super worker. Don't think you can handle it all. Oh, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. Listen, delegate, 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 delegate. Because you're not a one-man show. I'm not a one-man show. I have to delegate this in order for me to continue to do what I'm doing. Okay? I have in here some small group expectations. Basically, it's you want to just read that. Those are do's and don'ts as well. Make sure you're living a holy lifestyle. Okay? And then I'm going to go over here when it comes to when you serve in the church. This is more about character. Have you received Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior? Are you saved? Okay? Or are you a Muslim? Are you Mormon? Or are you Jesus? We don't want people coming in here and they still wrestling with, I don't even know if I'm really a Christian. I don't know if I'm going to live for him or not. That's no. Are you saved? Okay? On one accord with the church. You know? Whether some of the stuff you have questioned with it, are you back and are you with us or are you against us? Either you're going to be gathering or you're going to be scattering. Okay, so again, you may have a lot of people who come from more of a religious background and they come in there and they're just finding fault with everything. And they say they're called to the church. They probably are not called. They're probably, they need to either get delivered from that religious spirit or that legalistic spirit, or they need to move on to another church, because we will embrace, when people have issues, we're going to love them. And religious people can't handle that. They think everybody got to come clean, cooked, and ready to go. No, you got to clean the fish. And these fish will smell like weed. They will smell like liquor. They have tattoos all over themselves. They have a lot of things they need deliverance from. And we are going to be there. We're going to love them. But you can't be religious and legalistic and come in there and beat people over the head with the Bible. Let the Word of God do that through the preaching of the Word, okay? Through prayer. But don't you go out of your way and give those parking lot prophecies, those bathroom prophets, you know. Make sure you're on one accord. And here's one thing I want to say, and please hear me, those of you all that are prophetic, those of you all that are operating in spiritual gifts, please hear this. Do everything in decency and in order. We have 3 standards when it comes to the prophetic word. We are a prophetic church, but we're not going to have everybody just giving words everywhere, because we know that's out of order and that is confusion. Here are the 3 things. Number 1, did God tell you something for this person? And a lot of times people hear that, and that's all they need. Did God give you permission? I've given you a word for this person. Somebody says, yes, amen. So they run and they grab the person by the hand, point their finger in their face and say, the Lord said. No, you're out of order. That's not what we're supposed to do. That's just one permission. Did God say it? Okay? You really felt like God said it. Number 2 is you got to get permission. First, you got permission from God. Number 2, get permission from the pastor or your overseer. If you're in a church environment and you are a leader, you have an overseer. You go to your overseer and say, hey, I believe I have a word for that person over there. You let somebody know. If it's a word for the entire church, obviously you let the pastor know. And you let them say yes or no. If their leader says, no, it's not time, don't you go and do it and be out of order and say, well, you don't understand my call. I'm going to just obey the Lord because I'm the one. No, you're in a church environment, and the Lord has endorsed these three things that I'm telling you about. So, permission from God, permission from your leader. Your leader says, okay, yes. Your leader may come with you to make sure everything's done, decency, and in order, okay? Third one, you don't just grab a person and say, hey, the Lord said, lift your hands and receive this word. Don't you do that. The third thing you need to do is get permission from the individual, okay? God first, permission from God. Second, your leader. Then the person who you are prophesying to. You don't just grab them and start speaking. You ask them, I believe I have a word from the Lord from you. Check with God, got approval of my leader. Is it okay for me to give you this word? Is it okay? And you wait for them to say yes. Don't just say, I got a word. Is it okay? Thus said the Lord. Hey, lift your hands. Don't do that. You say, I believe I have a word from you. Is it okay? And you stop and listen. They may say, no. If they say no, then the answer is no. Don't you go around talking about, oh, okay, well, what I was going to say is this. Don't you come to the back door. You are out of order if you do that. You let them say yes or no. If they say no, it's on their hands. It's not on your hands, okay? You done everything right. Let the blood be on their hands, okay? Even if the leader says no, let the blood be on them. But you do your part by making sure you're decency and in order. Don't you wait for the out in the parking lot and you're like, well, there's nobody here. If nobody's there in his leadership and you heard a word, you still got to get permission from God, and then you get permission from the person itself. And once you tell the person themselves, if they say yes, you release the word, it's okay for you to let somebody know, one of your leaders know, hey, I had a word and I just gave them this word, and I got permission from them. But here's my point. Make sure it's in order. We don't want a whole lot of people just giving words all over the place, because that's how we get out of balance. That's how we get out of order. So for this house, that's how we do things in decency and in order to protect you, see, when we prophesy, we try to make sure we have it on record as much as possible. And we try to avoid bathroom prophets, parking lot prophets. Yeah, I know what the pastor said, but yeah, I say to thee, lift your hands. No, that is wrong. So, you got to be in agreement with what we're standing on. And those are the three things: God, the leadership, and the individual themselves. If you don't have those three permission slips, you are out of order and you're prophesying, okay? And they have permission to just disregard that prophecy because it wasn't in order, okay? So you got to be in agreement with that. Set aside time for the fellowship with the Lord, Be a Christian outside of church. Faithfully attend and promote the services of the ministry. Faithfully attend the service and then tell people about the church. Don't just keep it secret for you. I'm going to church and you're like Inspector Gadget. No, tell somebody, come to church with me. You should study the Word of God, all right? Have a Bible time for you where you study the Word. Don't just always get the Word from the pastor. We're here to do that, but you need to have your own study time too. All right? Obey those who have rule over you, your leaders. Respect your leaders who's over you. Don't be like, I don't know why they're in position. I can do it better than them. Respect those who have rule over you. That's God's will, okay? Present time of prayer time. Have a prayer time. Don't allow your lifestyle to be a stumbling block. Let me read this. Stumbling block to others. Smoking, cigarettes, narcotics, pipes. Living with each other. Living with somebody who's not your spouse. Having sex, fornicating. Getting drunk. Going to parties. Living a lewd lifestyle. Homosexuality. All the works that's described in Galatians chapter 6 that manifest themselves, you shouldn't be living that way if you're going to be involved with this, as far as your character. And we will address certain things if we see it in CIA, not to say that, hey, you can't have certain things going on. We just want to let you know we see what something is going on with you, and we want to address it, because sometimes you may not see it. And we want to make sure that we're doing our part as good stewards of the house of God to maintain everything we can do to keep this house in order, okay? Have fun when you're here. Have fun. But at the same time, if you're going to be part of leadership, you got to have a certain standard of the way you live and how you operate. And, you know, so we don't want you fornicating and in adultery, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, drugs, drunkenness, all of those things that's described in Galatians chapter 5. Okay? So I think I'm just about done here. Just make sure when you're a laborer, this is what I want to say. When you're done with these videos, send me an email. Send the overseer an email that says, I have listened to this video and I am ready to take the leadership orientation quiz. And, you know, have that ready, because these questions that's on there, I want to make sure you read it, because it's almost like the first stage of seeing if you are ready for this, okay? We do love you, and I'm going to read this last page real quick. These are the general ministry requirements. Basically, I'm going to do one accord again. Make sure you submit to the code of ministry, all right? On time for meetings and services. Just be on time if you can. Never abandon a teammate in need. Equip those underneath you to handle your tasks. Address the problem, not the person. Commit to personal and spiritual growth. Come to serve, not to hang out. Operate with a spirit of excellence. Remain in strong communication. Don't mess with the image of the foundation of the world church. That's one accord. If you do this, nobody has to look over your shoulder. Just keep the code of ministry, okay? Demonstrate the love of God regardless of your position in ministry. Duplicate yourself in other people. Every member is urged to have good family ethics. I mean, make sure your family is in order. Work together as a team, as a family. In every meeting, each leader should be asked of an account. I mean, you can talk about some of the progress you're doing in your ministry department. Dedicate yourself to your assignment. Take responsibility when things are not fulfilled. Take responsibility. Don't throw the blame on somebody else. Be present for prayer and service times before it starts. Be in there for the huddle times that we have. Cover and protect the ministry with the godly lifestyle. Okay? Support each other. And then after this, I have like some job descriptions of each department that you have that you're going to be, that you may sign up for. So look through there to give you an idea of these ministry departments. Probably some of this is new to you. You don't know what's required. And so you can pick a ministry department based off this. These job descriptions, okay? And they're updated every time. So that's why I encourage you to get the one online as well to look at it. But you can also get this manual, like I said, online, or you can request a copy. Remember, in order for you to get a hard copy of this manual, you have to request it. We're not going to just give it to you, because in the past we've had bad experiences. People don't respect it. So if you want a hard copy, just ask and we'll give it to you, okay? Because we don't want to waste money. Nursery, children's ministry, you got all of these job descriptions. Tween ministry, youth ministry, young adult ministry, all of this. They're there, and we can, help you to define what's next. So here's what I want you to do. If you haven't done so already, go to thefoundedworld.org and go to the part that says FBI application, okay? Fill out the FBI application and make sure you put in laborers, because you'll see bronze, silver, gold. Make sure you click laborers where it says what position are you applying for. Place laborers. If it says what position are you coming from, just leave that blank if you're just going into laborers, because you just came from just regular membership. When it comes to your ministry department where you want to serve, you can look at this when it comes to all these job descriptions that I just showed you. look through that and just kind of pick something. If you don't have anything, just type in, I'm not sure at this time, okay? So fill out that whole thing when it comes to labors, and then answer all those questions that's there, all of them. And then you'll see another thing that says spiritual gifts analysis or spiritual gifts test or something like that. I want you to fill that one out too. That's a survey to help us to put you in a certain spot where you can fit best. Sometimes you don't know what you're really good at, so you need that survey to kind of help guide you and help us to kind of know where you're at. You may function prophetically or apostolically, but you're just kind of just serving more pastorally. Well, let us kind of just look at that. And so, two things. These are the two things I want you to do after this video. Actually, three. Number one, reply and say, hey, I watched all of the leadership orientation videos and I'm ready for the test, if you don't already have the test already. Number two, fill out the FBI application with laborers. You're applying for laborers and the department, and answer all the little questions that we have for laborers. Number three, fill out the spiritual gifts test. It's about maybe 50 questions on there, but just hit those little dots. It'll take you to another link, and then you can sign in as a guest. If I'm not mistaken, you sign in as a guest, and you can provide your personal email address, or you provide our church info email address, which is info@thefoundedworld.org. info@thefoundedworld.org. I will recommend this. I recommend putting in your email address, and so by the time you fill out that survey, it'll send you back your results, and then you just forward those results to the church, to the email address. Okay? And that's the best way to get it there. But if you can do that labor's application again, spiritual tests, and then say I'm ready for the quiz or the leadership quiz or what have you, all of that will help us out so that we can get the rest of the stuff to you. Then you can start taking the 10 labors classes. Okay, so after this video, take the 10 labors classes and then fill out the final exam for that. You can take it just as much time as you want. We recommend don't take too much time. But whenever you are completed, regardless of what month you are, when you complete it, once you get that certificate, remember, it's 1 year from the time you get that certificate is when you completed labors. But make sure you're faithful through that whole year coming in. Don't just serve for like 3 months and then the rest of the 8, 9 months, whatever, you just kind of just didn't do anything, and then you want to apply it to something else. It's not going to work that way. You have to be faithful for that whole year, okay? And I think that's all I have for this leadership class. If you have any questions, please let me know. Read the manual. Please read the manual. We put a lot of work into this manual. I think you should read it word for word. It's online right now, or you can get the hard copy, okay? Love you. I love you all. Thank you for taking the time to view these videos. And I believe God is going to really build a strong, godly foundation in your life as a result of you helping us build godly foundations in other people's lives. Okay? So, if you have any questions, let me know. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.